Hey guys, it's Justine Hernandez with Passion Style Purpose, living life not by default, but by design. So for today's conscious conversations, I'm so excited to have my girl Tracy from Uncontrollable Me. And I absolutely love her and just what she does. It's really powerful and how she integrates meditation into her coaching practice. And I brought her on because I wanted her to share with you the benefits in her story and just amazingness that goes with meditation and how you can apply it practically without all the fluff, kind of thing, so that you can apply it and feel the results and experience that. And we're also going to do a meditation as well, so you can experience how amazing Tracy is. So go on, girl, share your story.
I mean, you could just keep talking about how amazing I am. I'm not going to be mad about it. Yeah, I am Tracy. My business is Uncontrollably Me, and I do, life coaching is such, it sounds so it's cliche now, but I definitely feel like I work on a soul level with humans who are ready to radically change their lives, take the next step, overcome an obstacle, work on their relationships, all of the above. I do a lot with group meditations and one-on-ones. I do host the workshops to learn how to meditate, and yeah, it's been really exciting watching people transform in the middle of a meditation workshop, or a group setting, etc. And then it's also, for people who have meditated before, it's really cool to come to a workshop and have somebody else guide you, and it kind of taps you into maybe some levels that you can't get to yourself or haven't been able to. And I feel like, it's kind of a muscle memory type thing. I was listening to a podcast my coach actually was hosting. And can you turn your phone volume down?
Sure, of course.
I don't know if it'll mess up the thing. I just can hear myself, so I don't know if it's reverbing on.
No, it's fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great. Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay.
Anyways, they were just talking about, how in the fitness world, to work out a muscle, you do repetitions of that same exercise, and it creates that muscle memory. And I think that easy way to help yourself, maybe with not putting so much pressure on yourself or judging what happens for you in a meditation, is to treat coming back to your focus, coming back to each breath as a repetition. So you imagine doing 10 curls or 20 push-ups or whatever it is that you're doing. You're going to have to do those as well in the meditation practice. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me.
Well, I know when I took your class, I absolutely loved it. So Tracy teaches a class at the Annex. I did it in September, was it August?
August. Yep. We have the one for September is this weekend coming up.
Yes, that's right. So I took Tracy's class because I was just really excited to experience meditation with someone that I know. And I just loved how I was able to really drop into my body, because I always have this weird relationship with meditation where, because the word perfectionist, I want to do things right and all this stuff. And I have all these thoughts going on. I'm like, okay, I need help with this. And I used to do a lot of guided meditation. And then what I was wanting to do is really work on being silent with myself and meditating for an extended period of time. And I know what I got up to 15 minutes. And then once I stopped, I had to start all over again, kind of like how you were saying, it's a muscle, muscle memory. And I had to start from 5 minutes and work myself up in increments and stuff again.
Yeah, no. And it is true, and just to give a brief blurb about what meditation is, and in saying that, what it is not. Meditation is just the practice of simply sitting still, allowing your thoughts to come and go, not judging what comes up for you, and really leaning into that heart space and figuring out what's really important for you, and what matters to you and what direction you want to continue. All the questions you could possibly ask you find answers to in your meditations, right? And it's in that process that we reclaim parts of ourselves that you know, we've lost over the years or given away or been complicit in, you know, losing. And then there's also the ability to make better choices because we trust ourselves in that space more. We know we're going to be there for ourselves. We know that we're going to do the best that we can in the moment. And all of that requires letting go of the judgments towards the decisions that we've made in the past, etc. So that's like a huge blanket statement. Yeah. So just a couple simple imagery ideas, and I want to touch on these so that people can maybe practice them if they do the meditation with us, is that there's, you know, you want to think, you know, I want my brain to turn off. Like, it's not possible. Like I read an article from a monk the other day who talks about having monkey brain and the chatter from this is a monk. Like he meditates full time. That's his job, you know, like yeah. he has this problem. So the average person, especially when you're not practicing it every day, you're going to encounter that same thing, you know.
Yeah, with all the technology and all the other stuff that we have and being overly stimulated, it's kind of hard to like make our brain go silent and be like, oh yes, I'm meditating, this feels good.
Yes. And you know, just the expectation that we're going to just drop right into that space of Zen, right? But the idea that we want to focus on is to be an observer. So last past Friday, I did a meditation workshop at kickboxing gym, Britt's training. And we went through the process of actually observing the feeling of breathing. So that's one style of meditation, is breath work. So like imagining how the air feels as it's, you know, like focus on how it feels as it's coming in through your nostrils and down your throat and into your lungs. And then how that oxygen then goes into your bloodstream and courses throughout your body, and your heart beating from that. So you can be an observer of all those mechanical things our body is doing without us even asking it to.
Yeah.
You can do that same thing and be an observer of our thoughts, right? So for example, you can imagine a whiteboard and the thought comes up on the whiteboard and then you erase it off, or being the sky and imagining the clouds come in. Those are your thoughts, but clouds are always on the move, right? So they're not going to stay. So we're not going to let them linger, you know, in our headspace. And then, you know, something like the ocean, being the ocean, the waves crash on the shore, that is your thoughts, but you can let them, you know, come and go as necessary without holding on to them. And I think it's a beautiful exercise if something has really been bothering you for a period of time, you just can't seem to let it go, to really lean into what it is bringing up for you, because oftentimes what we're triggered like by has nothing to do with that actual situation. It's usually something from our past that we left, you know, without dealing with, etc. So, you know, just get some sort of visualization, you know, whatever works for you and the time. Those are just 3 quick recommendations I can give when we do this here.
I feel like what you're explaining is kind of like meditation is kind of like learning how to be uber present.
Mm-hmm.
Like super, super present with yourself to a point that you can feel and experience everything in your body. And like, you're able to focus on like the internal dialogue that's going on, that's blocking you or preventing you from, like how you're saying you have this trigger, this thing that's going on, and you realize that it was a surface level emotion and it goes deeper than that. And so,
sure. Yeah. And especially because, you know, our bodies are the storage facility of our traumas and our wounds, and also our joys and our excitements and happiness too. So when you think about, you know, like one thing that I tell people, it's a very basic, simple thing, but when was the last time you thought about your pinky toe or the backside of your knee or the little knob on your collarbone, right? Like most people think about their toe when they stub it or they hit it on a table or whatever. But if we just sit there and think for a second about, you know, what our balance would be like without a pinky toe, we can send gratitude for just having this little tiny baby toe, you know. And for those few minutes that you're, you know, thinking about that and giving that joy, being you're in this moment right now. You're not thinking about the bill that's due or the ex that did the thing or the kid that went to whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really does even just the act of doing like a body scan, which is another type of meditation, is bringing you into this moment, because you can only focus on and feel right now.
Yeah. I love that, the body scan. That's like super powerful. I remember the first time I experienced that, I was kind of shocked about how tight my body was, because you don't realize that.
You're storing all that energy in there.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's funny how you said about like when if you stub your pinky toe, like that's when you realize you have a pinky toe in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But so I have this running joke in my house that whenever I throw an event, the third floor is it's like this kind of shape. So when people come over, I usually tell them my house has a tendency to make you be present. So if you bump into the walls, it's because my house is giving you a message and telling you you're not being present with yourself.
I love that. Yeah, for sure. And we're so beautifully designed. Our body is actually constantly telling us, like I used to hate, oh, I have anxiety, it's terrible. For years and years I didn't admit to it, and then finally started opening up about it. And then I realized like my body is telling me there's an issue, there's a concern, there's a problem right now. Like I have my own internal ADT system going on to let me know when things are not working properly or whatever's happening. And that's not just with anxiety, that's just an example. Our body has an alert system to it. And the more that we can sit in the space with our body, our soul, emotion, feeling, heart, all of those other things, the easier we move through life, because we're so present and we know what we're feeling and how to react. And again, it comes back to trusting ourselves. I know so many people that are like, I just don't trust myself to blank. And it's like, yeah, who can you trust if you don't trust yourself first, right? So I
think that's such a cultural thing for us too, though.
Mm-hmm.
We trust everyone else but ourselves, and we give our power away to everyone else.
Like, take it all. Yeah.
But I think it's just kind of like, for a person that is experiencing meditation for the first time, or maybe they're afraid to do meditation because they don't know what to do with the stuff that bubbles up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like someone experiencing some type of trauma, they don't want to address it or be present with it because they don't know how to transmute it,
Right. Real quick, I just wanted to say, Profit Partners, HRVA said, so what's the main topic of this live? We're talking about meditation and benefits, effects on your life and things like that. And we're actually going to do a live meditation here in a few minutes. So thanks for joining.
I know. Thank you. That's awesome. Sorry.
And if anybody has any questions, we'll both try to keep an eye on it. I just happened to notice it because I have it right in front of my screen. So yeah.
Yeah. If any of you guys have any questions, comments, or, feel free to share your own journey and your own story with meditation. Or if you're new to meditation, what kind of questions you may have around it. So that's what we're here for. That's what we're having these conscious conversations, so that we can empower you and support you, so you don't feel like you're crazy.
Yeah, man. Like we all do. It's like, we sit there and we think we're so alone in our thought processes. And it's when I'm vulnerable about my stuff, I give people the opportunity to feel comfortable being vulnerable in theirs. And we all go through stuff. We all have pain. We all have suffering. We can't weigh it comparably. I can't put mine on a scale and yours on a scale and say, oh, mine's more or yours is less or whatever. But the bottom line is that we do connect on the types of feelings, right? So whether we are both experiencing joy, I don't know your joy, but we know joy, so we can celebrate it together. And then when you need space held for your trauma or your sadness or whatever it is, we can do that too. So yeah, it's really important, I think, in that shared sacred space, especially of meditation, when I do workshops, it's there is a community energy, and it's so healing. And this last Friday specifically, I mean, it was just emotional, raw, vulnerable, and so good. And not everybody shared, but
yeah,
it's just one of those moments where I feel so grateful to be able to facilitate and also be a part of, because I heal just as much.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you're in the healing arts, you know, you like even being a coach and stuff like that, whatever you give to your client, you receive as well.
Oh yeah. And
Because
usually I need it just as bad.
right. I remember my feng shui master used to tell us whenever she was teaching a class that, you know, I need this just as much as you. And for me, that was shocking when she would do the meditations with her crystal quartz singing bowl. And I was like, oh, you need this too? Like you think, oh, you're the teacher, you got your shit together, you're meditating, you rocking it, you know what's up. But it's not. You're human.
Yes, absolutely. We're all flawed and we're all fucked up. You know, I mean, it's just a matter of accepting that and practicing the better ways to get out of those things or get through those things rather than sitting in the muck. You know, it's like, I think that that's the beautiful part about having therapy, coaching, mentorship, master, whatever. There is this, acceptance that we're all just on this journey and still figuring it out, you know. And it's funny to me when people assume that, you know, oh, you just have, you know, every day we struggle, every day we're all the same. There's no speaking of, and just a total sidebar, when I was I don't know if I showed you my focus cards, but I pulled focus cards right before we got on here, and the first card I pulled was mastery, and the second card I pulled was sensitivity. And then as I was putting the deck back together, tenderness popped out on there. So
I love your affirmation cards and stuff.
Yeah, it's really and I use just a quick thing for people. All of these cards have words on them, and sometimes it helps. It gives you like a little bit of an intuitive hit to pull the card that is meant for you, and then also have something to focus on. You know, sometimes you'll pull a word, like I pulled mastery and sensitivity. So maybe in this exchange, you know, I can really lean into being sensitive to, you know, what somebody may feel, or if there's a question asked or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's funny that you said that, because I was actually pulled to pull cards today too. So I have these cute little they're affirmation cards with the rabbit unicorn.
Of course you do.
No, in Chinese astrology, I'm a rabbit. I was born in the year of the rabbit.
Okay.
And so I was like, ooh. And what I pulled was, the affirmation was divine timing. Everything is timing, and timing is everything. Gladly, I release my concerns over timing and letting things happen when and as they will. I trust that the divine schedule makes known what they are doing. If it can take a long time to reach divine middle management. Okay, cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, learning how to trust. And I feel like when you are fully present and doing this practice and stuff like that, you start to trust yourself. You start building confidence in who you are, and you start realizing the shit that you used to put up with that you don't have to anymore, and that the timing is just perfect. Everything just aligns. It's beautiful.
And what is it in our own shit that makes us think that it's okay to put up with somebody else's shit? You know, I mean, it's so funny. Amber Hawkins has a post recently, and it's all about, I mean, just your shit and my shit and our shit and everybody's shit, and then we're shitting all over the place. And you know, it cracks me up every time I read it, because it's so true. And oftentimes we can say, X person did this, right? And that's what caused me to feel this way, which is why I have to act. But what was it about us that allowed X person to do the thing?
Yeah.
Right. And where were our boundaries at that point, et cetera? So, and not to say anything is good or bad, it just is. And we can recognize where we want to make changes based on that. I like to believe in both and. I am both radically, uniquely designed and perfect and flawed just as I am, and a work in progress, you know, like it's all,
I'm a perfect disaster.
Amen. Yeah. Perfectly imperfect. Right. So
I love that. I'm just a perfect disaster.
Yeah.
I'm so amazing.
You crack me up, girl. Okay, we got to reel it in here. Are we going to do a meditation, or do you have anything else you want to touch on?
So I wrote down in my little notebook right here. So for those that are starting, that are like fresh, they're fresh off the boat, you know, with meditation, what would you recommend for them as like any misconceptions about what meditation is? And what is usually a great, like for your experience and what you did for yourself, what was one of the things that you started off with meditation? Or how
So
did you get into it?
basically out of necessity. I did not realize it was meditation right away. I started taking a few minutes to myself during a pretty traumatic time in my life. And I would, sit quietly, think, close my eyes. And then I would journal about whatever came up for me, which is, a type of practice that you can, it's like conscious writing, if you will.
Yeah,
And you want to kind of dive into a meditation and then write. I didn't realize that's what I was doing. It was just out of necessity because I didn't have an outlet that was healthy at the time. And it was during an abusive relationship. And looking back, I found journals from, God, more than 15 years ago and was like, oh, I just mentioned meditation there, And so, I can't even honestly remember when I started. I know it was probably early 20s maybe. And when I first started doing it and then actually learning what it was, towards the late 20s, and then doing it on purpose, and the different ways you can meditate. And I've mentioned a couple so far. And really, I'd say try out what feels aligned for you. If you like breathing, if you like guided, if you like body scans, if you like, there's Kundalini and Zen and,
a slew.
yeah, but look up the different kinds. You can go online and look up different ones and see if some of them feel good or if they feel like maybe not so much for me. And then
I know when I first started, I did guided because it was easy for me to, I needed something to anchor my thoughts, and
sure.
then I needed someone to guide me. But that's me. That was my journey.
Well, and my first recommendation is to come to my workshop, of course, because then everybody can just dive right in. I'm going to look at doing them online.
Please share about your workshop, by the way.
Yeah. So I transitioned from doing meditation on my own to teaching yoga. And then in that space, at the end of every yoga class, you have, that downtime, kind of like that corpse pose, relax, let your mind be at ease with your body, etc. And so that was like my first real life practice with it in a group setting. And I started doing guided meditations with a friend, just randomly, like, hey, I'd like to dive into this specific space. And we went further back into the bigger story beyond what we were even expecting to get into. So with my coaching, I always do it with my coaching clients, especially if they're coming from a space of like a busy day or, a heart matters situation. They kind of need that break between real life and dealing with what's happening in our hearts and souls. And I thought, why not teach people how to do this? Why not host a workshop and make this accessible for people who are interested? And so I've done a couple of CrossFit gyms, a couple of boxing gyms, that.
Wow, that's an awesome energy to be in there. Boxing gym
mindset, for sure. Right. And it's a practice. And I've done it in yoga settings. And then obviously the annex. We have this Sunday coming up is the next one, and everything's on my website. I'll give you the details at the end. And then it's the last Sunday of this month and October. We did August already. So it's kind of like a take me to church kind of Sunday. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful way or anything like that, but really just, I truly believe God is within all of us, and that energy is what we're sharing in that space. And so it's not really completely off basis to say that. So
it's totally fine. I used to have friends that called strip clubs, they're going to church.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a whole other level. So what meditation is not, it is not going into, a blank Zen space without effort. It is not full of judgment or criticism. It is not sitting down for 20 seconds and a thought pops in your mind and saying, well, it doesn't work for me. You know, you can use beads, you don't have to. You can use music, you don't have to. You can use a special altar, like with crystals and salt lamps and beads, you don't have to. You can do sound bath meditations, you don't have to. I mean, there's a myriad of ways to practice meditation. You just have to find what's right and feels good for you. I love when people start with a guided meditation, because it is like the training wheels on a bike, right? It's like easing you into that space. Headspace is a great one. Calm is a great one. I use Insight Timer because I don't use like words anymore unless it's something specific. I'm like a course I'm taking or something like that.
Yeah.
But for mine, when I'm working with people who are new to meditation or maybe just need that recheck in, you know, it's starting with the breath and working to do a body scan and give gratitude back, etc. And it's amazing how fast time passes when you do kind of just release into letting it be the moment. So I would challenge anybody on here tonight who's going to do this meditation with us, or who does it when we post it, you know, later.
I'm so excited for this.
I know.
I was looking forward to it. So.
To, you know, just kind of give it a shot. You know, you're not going to lose anything but 5 minutes of your time. And if you're worried about that, go try standing in line at Starbucks for 5 minutes, and then we'll talk about what matters, right? But anyways, so I'll get off on my rant stage here. But yeah, you know, I feel like meditation can be everything that you need it to be. It is really the observance of our truths and where we are. It's a reclamation of pieces that we have lost or given away over time, and it is a way to be present with ourselves and absolve some of the grief or trauma that we've experienced in our life. So if any of that sounds like that might be a help to my life, I'm your girl.
I love it.
Good. So you want to get started, or was there anything else?
I
feel like I go off on tangents. I miss some of the questions, and then I'll say too much about something you didn't ask, you know.
Hey, it's divine timing.
That's right. It is.
Whatever is said tonight is meant to be said, and I love it. So
me too, girl. Me too.
Yeah. This is what the whole thing is about. Conscious conversations, just doing our thing. Hey, Liz.
Elizabeth, yay. We said we'll pay attention, and then neither of us did, right? We're terrible. All right, so let's go ahead and take a couple of breaths here. Get yourself comfortable. I am gonna be cognizant of time and have my eyes closed at the same time. So I'm hoping that we'll land around 5 minutes. I've done this enough that I'm usually pretty good at it, but yeah. So really, wherever, you know, if you're sitting, it's best to sit up. Oftentimes people enjoy laying down. In a guided meditation, you usually can, but you want to be very careful with not falling asleep. At the end of the day, like your brain dump is what I call mine. You want to be able to finish through that before falling asleep, or else you're kind of like mid-thought, you know, or mid-dump, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's not like it's good to finish the whole thing. So I often recommend people when they're starting, especially, to sit up, maybe sit in a chair where you can sit upright, you know, shoulders down and away from your ears. Again, you want to be comfortable. So if that's not comfortable for you, get comfy. We're going to breathe in and out through our nose. If you're sitting, you can turn your hands up on your lap and close your eyes. Inhaling into your nose, through your lungs, and then deep into your belly. Imagine a balloon inside your torso extending into the bowl of your hips. You want to inhale, expanding that balloon all the way down into our hip bones. And your exhale out will be the same way, through your nose. If your mind starts to wander anytime through this little meditation we're doing, just come back to thinking about that inhale, focusing on it coming in through your nose, down your throat, into your lungs, and expanding your belly. Make you feel grounded into your seat, feeling the weight of your body on the chair or the floor. Feel the way that your shirt feels on your skin, your hands on your lap. We'll start a body scan at the crown of your head. Just gently scan side to side, over your forehead, eyebrows, scanning down over your nose, eyes, cheekbones, the back of your head, your ears, your mouth and jaw. Just becoming aware of your body and the sensations that you feel. Scanning down your neck and your shoulders. Notice any tension. You can move to release it if you need to. Scanning down your arms, into your hands and your fingers. Scan down over your chest, inhaling your lungs and feeling your heart beating. Scan your upper back, just observing where you feel what in your body. There's tension or a lightness. Inhaling deep into your belly, scanning over your ribs and your stomach, lower back and your hips. Notice any muscles that are tight or tense. Inhale some love and gratitude towards any spots that are tight. Scan down over your legs, your knees, shins, and calves. Scanning your feet and your toes. We're going to pause here and then slowly scan back up, thinking about your toes, feet, legs, core, arms, shoulders, neck and head. I want you to observe your thoughts the same way. It's just a presence, an awareness, allowing thoughts to come up and then to go. Breathing deeply into your belly. Feeling gratitude for this space, the ability to relax in the comfort of your own company. We want to honor everyone here, everyone practicing meditation, everyone giving themselves a few minutes of time. Slowly, we're going to feel the weight of our body coming back onto the chair or the floor. Feeling again your hands in your lap. Notice the sounds in the room. Take a few more deep inhalations here. Feeling connected and rooted. And then opening your eyes when you're ready. Before you move on or slide off the Instagram feed, I want you to place a hand over your heart and just feel here how much you matter, what your heart needs and wants, making space for that, maybe for the first time in a long time. And I just wanted to send everybody some gratitude.
Oh, it was so magical. I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here like this and just close my eyes and go to sleep.
It feels right. It's just a little bit of just giving ourselves that little bit of room to matter really can shift the way you feel towards the day or whatever. And it's so easy. We numb out in so many different ways, whether it's Netflix or wine or cardio or, everybody else's problems, whatever the thing is, and
Welcome, Carly. Sorry.
Yeah, Carly's amazing, everybody. Go check her out. She does amazing yoga classes. Yeah, she's awesome. And thank you for checking in, Carly. we should do one at some time too. But we all have those things, but sometimes just sitting with ourselves and that being okay however we show up is more relaxing to our body and to our senses than any of the other things we can do to try to numb out the world.
Yes, I love that.
Yay.
I love for me, like, it just feels like being able to be fully present, and I can hear like all of like, I like to activate all my senses when I'm meditating too, because it's like, what am I hearing? What am I smelling? What am I like? Am I feeling myself sitting down? Those different kinds of things, and it's really powerful. I love it.
It really is, and we did the chocolate at the meditation I had, and Coco Nouveau, shout out. So that one of the things that is an easy way to practice. There's so many. I wish I could get to all of them, but one of the great things you can do is have a little piece of chocolate or even a piece of fruit, that's flavorful, like a little tangerine or something like that. And you can touch it and smell it and taste it and see it and hear it, the way that you chew it or the way that you peel it, whatever the case is. When you're really tapping into those, we're only capable of thinking about one thing at a time. And so when we shift into that present moment, it really does help.
Oh, that felt so good, girl. Thank you. I'm like, when I was doing the body scan, I mean, I feel like this is for a lot of women where we hold a lot of weight on our shoulder, like in our shoulder blades and stuff.
Absolutely.
When I go see my massage therapist, she's like working in there.
Yes. Got an elbow, get some,
I know, like, come on, let me get some grease up in there and like loosen it up.
Yes. And it's true. A lot of us carry it right here. And sometimes it's just being aware of it. Oftentimes we'll hold energy or, something that happened to us within our body. And so if we really can breathe into that space, I'm breathing into my shoulder, it can help release some of that stagnant energy in there.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Tracy, for that and sharing your wisdom and just sharing
It was
you.
so good. Yeah, absolutely. We have to do this more often
Yes.
because we did it on mine last time and it was so fun. And now this time was a little bit longer and, more in depth. So I think it's great. It's like a live podcast almost.
Yeah, that's right.
And for everybody watching, we're going to save this one. We're kind of hitting it both ways and doing the Zoom as well. So we'll be able to post it and you can, watch through again later, or if you want to, go into that meditation for yourself one more time, then have at it. My next meditation workshop is this Sunday coming up at the Annex from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's only $10. You will not find it cheaper anywhere else. And everybody.
And I highly recommend her class, by the way, because I loved it. It was amazing. I love your voice. It's very pleasant.
Thanks.
It's wonderful when you have someone that can guide you through a meditation. They actually have a beautiful voice.
Right. My son would probably disagree, but I'll take that,
Your son, that's why. He's like, I don't want to hear her.
Thank you. Exactly. But yeah, for sure. And I appreciate that so much. I know that especially people who have meditated before, sometimes we get to a little bit of an impasse. And so, shaking it up a little and trying something new can often break us free from, whatever space we were in before. And then all the details are on my website. It's www.uncontrollablyme.com. You can follow me on Instagram at uncontrollably_me. You had me thinking about it after talking about your friends page that's so similar. I'm like thinking about it myself.
Sorry.
Oh, good stuff. And
we're gonna I'll post all your information on this. So, and if you want to reach out to Tracy, we'll post everything on the. I'm going to be putting this on IGTV, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. So, and all her information will be in there, as well as her link to go register for her class this Sunday, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so, yeah, I totally recommend it, especially if you're new to meditation and you want to experience it. I mean, paying $10 to experience a meditation is like a bargain. So
yeah.
Go do it because there's no excuse.
Absolutely. I love it.
So love you guys. Thank you so much, Tracy, for being so fabulous and just sharing space with us and really just sharing like conscious conversations about real life shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I am all about it. I mean, we're all in this deal together, and if anybody tells me they're fine and don't have problems, I know they're lying, so we all have our shit again, and it's just a matter of like coming together. And oftentimes it's, we're in it all the time, and can be so it's like that forest for the trees or through the trees or whatever the saying is, sometimes it's just a shift that somebody else can help point us in the right direction for. So
oh yeah, and this is just another amazing tool that you can add to your toolbox, when you're going through shitty days and times of your life that are just like not lining up for you. Having these amazing tools to add to your toolbox is so beneficial and helpful, so that you're not feeling like you're losing your mind and you're by yourself and you feel disconnected from people. This helps you be more present and more connected and vibrant, and you get to see all the opportunities and things like that. So I love it.
I love the way you put that. It was great.
I try.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and shut off the IGTV. Sending you so much love and blessings your way, and have a fabulous evening.
Yay,
love you guys. Bye.